That's all right. Turn up the speak
Thank you. Do you have my? Yep. Do you know where is Lumen on his way down so we can do CRA?
Let's go ahead and start. I'll start. Yeah, sure.
Hey, well,
Hey,
Okay,
we got it.
thank you.
All right. Hey. Thank you, Madam Chair. For the purposes of this, I'm going to call this Escambia County Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. Regular meeting, March 5, 2026, 4:32 p.m. Please turn your cell phone to the vibrate, silence, or offsetting. The Board of County Commissioners allows any person to speak regarding an item on the agenda. Speakers limited to 2 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. Speakers, please refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protest, or any other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Upon completion of the public comment period, discussion will be limited to board members and questions raised by the board. Was this meeting properly advertised?
Yes, this meeting was published in the Pensacola News Journal on February 26th of 2026.
All right, thank you very much. Technical and public service consent agenda?
Recommendation concerning community redevelopment.
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
Recommendation concerning community redevelopment agency meeting minutes, February 5th, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
All right, a second, Mike? All right, all those in favor, please indicate by raising your hand. Any opposed? Seeing none, item passes. Minutes pass 4-0. Budget and finance consent agenda?
Recommendation concerning the cancellation of residential rehab grant program liens, A and B. Recommendation concerning residential rehab grant program funding and lien agreements, A and B. Recommendation concerning residential roof program funding and lien agreements, A and B. Recommendation concerning the cancellation of residential roof program and liens, A and B.
All right, and we don't have any speakers?
No
On these
speakers.
items? All right, Board, if there's not any questions for staff, I'd entertain a motion for the budget and finance consent agenda in full. Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thank you. If there's no more comments, please vote, indicate yes by raising your hand. Any opposed? Seeing none, item passes 4-0. Anything else for discussion?
No
I'm
items
sorry,
for
Mr.
discussion.
Chairman, you've got the floor. We've moved the action items. We're on to discussion if there's any from the board or yourself.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. I appreciate it. Are there any items for discussion?
No items for discussion.
And at the next CRA, we'll talk about the roof program, I would assume.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
And the sewer connection.
Excuse me?
And the sewer connection.
And the sewer connection. All right, any questions? Thank you, Commissioner Berry. We stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam
thank
Chair?
you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Public forum is now called to order. Please turn your cell phones to the vibrate, silence, or offsetting. The Gary Sansing Public Forum is attended for matters not included on the agenda or for the upcoming Board of County Commissioner meeting. Citizens wishing to address items on the agenda should sign up to speak to such items at the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protest, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the Gary Sansing Public Forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow for sufficient time for all speakers. If 20 or more speakers are signed up, the time will be reduced to 2 minutes out of respect for all attendees. Members of the public who would like to present a visual aid when speaking must submit all materials at least 24 hours prior to the meeting via email to submissions@myescambia.com. If you are signed up to speak today, today and have not already submitted your visual aids, please see a county staff member in the lobby for assistance. Please note that same-day submissions will be determined on a case-by-case basis at the discretion of the BCC chair. The chairperson's discretion, the Gary Sansing Public Forum may end 5 minutes prior to the scheduled start of the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting to allow for the meeting to commence on time. We do have more than 20 speakers tonight, so the time limit will be 2 minutes. Melissa Pino, you will be first. Kevin Wade, you will be next. And Diane Crummell will be after Kevin Wade.
Thank you, Chairman Hoffberger. Melissa Pino, 413 Southeast Boblets, here at Public Forum once again for Save Our Beaches. Our ranks are unfortunately a little thin. We've had the flu hit, like so many people have. 5 people that were going to be down tonight were not able to make it. But I wanted to start by thanking you, Commissioner Kohler. You were the one that really pushed us to come forward with our compromise proposal and urged us to try to find some common ground. And for those who are not familiar in the room, we've been having a pretty good hot debate about customary use, and our team came up with a very kind of simple proposal that the majority of it is that not the board eminent domain, but that the remaining owners who don't have an easement give 75 feet for the public to be on, and in exchange, the taxpayers will maintain that. Disappointed it's not getting a hearing tonight. Hopefully at some point we can get this off the blocks. We have no way to get it to the condo owners, so perhaps a staff person can do that. We have no indication that the PKA has even discussed it in large or gotten it to the remaining owners. And I'm going to direct this to you, Chairman Hoffberger, because I don't want to be confrontational with the particular commissioner, but it has come to my attention that the same old stuff is starting up again. We've been doing Oppo research. She's crazy. She's a loser. She's never had a real job. She comes down to the BCC meetings because she's looking for a way to bide her time. And that's fine. I'm used to it. I've gone through round after round. One time they messed with my husband, though.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
And when they did that, they found out that it was FAFO time, because people can say whatever they want about me, but the lowest form of politics is when people mess with somebody's family members who are not even in politics. So keep an eye, folks, on who's going low and who's going high tonight.
Thank you, Melissa. It's Kevin Wade. And again, I don't know what you're talking about. Kevin? And then Diane Crummell, you'll be after Kevin.
Kevin Wade, 413 Southeast Boblets, involving families. Oh, on the customary use and coming up with ideas for compromises. You know, we asked that our compromise proposal and cover letter be placed on the agenda, but that the request did not even garner a reply. So I'll read some ideas from the heart of the work here. It's our belief that the attached proposals are true compromises with all stakeholders, providing something of value to the others. And it is our hope that the county attorney and the Escambia Board of County Commissioners will not only place this email and attached proposal on the agenda for the next meeting, but will recognize the many merits of the proposal and advocate for the acceptance of the Perdido Key Association in entirety of the various ownership entities who enjoy Gulf front situations, which have been largely and meticulously bolstered by the taxpayers of Escambia County during multiple phases of dune restoration that is ongoing to this day. And there are other programs that are costing many, many millions of dollars to try to bring sand back to those beaches. Public beaches are more than just beautiful stretches of white sand along the Gulf. They're the economic engines that drive our coastal community. People visit, move here, and raise family here for one reason: access to the shoreline. The access fills our hotels and vacation rentals, support our restaurants, and sustain the small businesses that employ our friends and neighbors. And we really worked hard to come up with compromise. So Thank you.
Thank you. Am I understanding Diane is not in attendance tonight? Okay, thank you. Lori Newman, and then Laura Bagras will be after Lori Newman.
All right, good afternoon, Commissioners and Madam Attorney. Save Our Beaches has not just been hard at work on a compromise proposal that you have all seen that is an earnest attempt to come together as a community and chart a local path that avoids expensive and extensive lawsuits. For the last 2 months, we have been talking with scores of people who are excited to provide official testimonies in sworn affidavits about their historic beach access on Perdido Key. These testimonials go back over 80 years, and there are many older people in our community who cherish their Perdido Key beach memories as some of the very best times in their lives. Memories of beloved family and friends, community, at their core, a completely approachable shoreline where any and all were welcome. These testimonials will include those who have had or still have a vested ownership interest in the Key, talking about how, until bad legislation passed in 2018, tried to limit public access to our shorelines. Nobody had a spirit of owning the beach, even when their parcels overlaid the sand. They will include dates, define spans of time, identify the geographical access they enjoyed, and talk about all the activities that people have witnessed and enjoyed over a lifetime. All of these people want to give testimonials now, but we don't have an avenue to do this in coordination with the county because the board has not given staff direction to start taking testimonials. Most sworn testimony is given these days via video, which would be particularly convenient for the old-timers who are excited to contribute to an understanding of the central importance of access on Perdido Key to the entire Escambia County community and beyond. We ask that the board help us in starting to accumulate these sworn testimonies. While we have hope that such a thing will not prove necessary
Thank
for
you so
legal
much for your time.
purposes-
Laura Bagras, you're next, and then Prince Opitz will be after Laura. Ma'am? Oh, thank you for letting me know. Stan Kappa will be after you then. Thank you.
So I was under the mistaken impression because the compromise had finally been presented, which Commissioner Strohberger had been asking for, that he would have presented it to the condo owners. So I'm going to come with what I felt about the compromise. I feel that as Escambia County residents, we should easily be able to share our natural resources and still maintain our beautiful homes and condos with shared responsibilities for keeping the beaches pristine and our wildlife safe. As good caretakers, most of us fill in holes and pick up trash left by others. Some of us have the same problem with people climbing fences and trying to use our pools, showers, etc. This problem will likely continue, whether or not we compromise or whether we don't. What I think it may do, what I hoped it would do, would make the beaches more open, but the same people who have done this in the past will do it in the future. If you're not spending resources on policing the whole beach, you should have more resources to spend on protecting your property. I truly believe this issue could and should have been resolved if we had all talked before it got to this point. I hope and believe that this solution will bring us all closer together as a community. I'd just like to say that I'm very confused about politics. I don't understand how it all works. These are our public beaches. I've asked before, spring break is coming up. Are the sheriffs still going to be at Beach Access 1? Nobody has an answer? Nobody knows?
As of now, things will continue on until the board makes a decision.
And when can we expect a decision?
We don't have that information right now.
When can we get put on an agenda?
Thank you. Next, we have Stan Kappa? I messed that up. I'm so sorry. And Albert Jackson will be after Stan.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity to speak today. I realize this is a hot topic, and I wanted to convey my unique perspective. My name is Stan Capua. I have lived in Perdido Key for the past 10 years and love it. For those past 5 years, I've been a member of the Perdido Key Association, the last 2.5 years serving as president. When I moved here, I joined Perdido Key Association to volunteer my time to help keep Perdido Key beautiful, to engage with suggestions and improvements for our island. PKA is a voice for members, not necessarily Escambia County residents. As I researched customary use, this seemed like a non-issue to me, a logical proposition which allows people like me who don't own Gulfront condo to simply use our beach. So when the Perdido Key Board voted to reject customary use, that was a decision I could not support as president and immediately resigned. Customary use affects everyone. What amazes me is the argument or the thought that suddenly with customary use, people are going to become squatters. Beachgoers, as we know, set up as close to the water as they can, especially families with small children, which honestly includes the majority of our beach visitors. Perdido Key is a family-oriented beach. It's not a rowdy spring break location. Based on my time with PKA, I would offer one suggestion. Escambia County should conduct more patrols as well as beach cleanup at the public access locations, as this has always been an issue, even without customary use. In conclusion, I believe we should all have the right to enjoy our beaches, including residents of Escambia County.
Thank you, Stan. We appreciate your comments. Albert Jackson and Mary Annabeth, you'll be after Albert.
Yes, I'm not sure where I sit on customary use and beach access. I've been a surfer and a fisherman for as long as I remember, and I've surfed and fished there on the Key before many of these condos were built. But we had an incident that happened August 10th, 2021, where our government took our liberty away. So I'm sitting on the middle of the fence because I don't want the condo owners to have their rights violated when the government takes their property, because I know what it's like for your government to take your liberty away and how it affects a family, how it affects a mother, and how it affects a father. So I don't want them to lose their property. I hopefully can come up with a compromise, but if not, then they need to fight for their property and fight for their rights. We need more beach access on the Key. That's always been a problem. We've had people sit in those chairs that have been for it and been against it, and things haven't changed. I brought some visual aids, but it was some pictures of gentleman that runs the beach access, the beach chair rentals. They use the public accesses for through fare to run their business for the condos. And my question would be, why don't the condos, yeah, that's, you put that, okay. Why don't it's not on, it's not up. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a picture of one of ECUA's trucks. This was on, I think, 2021 on July 4th. That was a Sunday, a holiday. And that truck is parked across 3 parking spaces, and it was there for, I got there at 12. It was there when I left at 3 o'clock. So I don't know why that truck was there.
Thank you. Mary Annabeth, you're up, and Jerry Cooey, you will be after Mary.
Hello. I was going to have a picture of the beach, but I'm not sure how to have that. It was sent, so it's here. I just don't know how to turn it on. Can you stop the clock? Because I'm trying to get the picture up.
I think we have someone coming up to help you right now.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Marian Abnett, and I'm a resident of Escambia County. Like many in this county, Perdido Key Beach is my happy place. Sometimes throughout history, we've had leaders with foresight to make decisions for those not yet born. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt preserved many beautiful wild places for public enjoyment instead of allowing a few wealthy people to hoard them. Perdido Key is also one. There are around 330,000 residents of Escambia County and approximately 1,500 Perdido Key Gulfront condo owners. 1,500 is less than 1% of the entire Escambia County population. Does that sound skewed? It did to our governing bodies, including Governor Ron DeSantis, who last year had the foresight to repeal the 2018 law that restricted some beaches. One guarantee in life is that you can't take it with you when you go, including condo owners on Perdido Key. If you have any family ties to Escambia County, it makes no sense to oppose public access to Perdido Key Beach. It would leave a dire legacy behind for future generations who will ask why they aren't allowed on the beach, only to learn that in 2026, their grandparents short-sightedly refused to share the shore with them. One question remains. Can anyone really own the sand on the beach? Of course not. Sand is a God-given wild natural resource that is fleeting like wind and water. The beach is sacred and priceless and should be preserved for posterity. Let's unite now and have foresight for future generations of Escambia County by passing customary use on Perdido Key for everyone's enjoyment, not just a few. Thank you. I hope to see you all on the beach.
Thank you, Mary. Jerry Cooey, you're next, and Laura Taylor will be after Jerry Cooey.
Good morning. I'm here to discuss the First Amendment and what kind of we're not really shocked that on the day that we would like to talk about the First Amendment, you shorten the First Amendment, but that's kind of how it goes around here. Respondents' methods imposed as boorish, crude, and crass as they may be must also be considered against the background of profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, wide open, and that it well may include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on governments. The mere fact that expressive activity causes hurt feelings, let me say that again, the mere fact that your feelings got hurt does not render the First Amendment unprotected. Be quite honest with you, I don't think there's a doubt as to whether or not Mr. Bluer's First Amendment rights were violated. I listened very carefully to what your meeting rules are, and I'm going to tell you that none of them are in the Constitution. So you might want to take a look at that. Over 1 million service members have died to protect this Constitution. And at that last meeting, you spit on them. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself for it. All of you stood right up there with a Bible, a judge, and your right hand raised, and you swore to protect and defend. Easy words. Let's see if you back it up. I'm just going to tell you, if this happens again, I will be deeply involved in this. And should Mr. Bluer need help finding a lawyer and to fund a lawyer, I'll be more than happy to help him. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Laura Taylor, and after Laura Taylor, we have Allie Brooks.
Hello. I'm a retired teacher from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. I moved to Perdido Key and have lived on Innerarity Island for 18 years. I also own a vacation rental on Sandy Key Drive and pay property tax and tourist tax. When I purchased my condo in 2016, my guest and I enjoyed the beach by walking and relaxing in the dry sand. A few years later, my guest experienced harassment and threats from guards when they simply wanted to enjoy the beach. Some were not even allowed to sit below the high tide line and were told to move on, that they were on private property. I believe Perdido Key beaches are a shared natural resource that taxpayers help to maintain and many local businesses benefit from the tourism. Thank you.
Thank you. Allie Brooks, and then after Allie Brooks will be Joseph Klein and Peter. Allie's not here. Okay, Joseph Klein and Peter, you're up. And Vic Hartman will be after Joseph.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Klein Peter. I am the president of the Indigo Condominium Association at 16321 Perdido Key Drive. I hear this modest proposal, this compromise. We only want to take half or maybe 110% of your property. I just heard about the First Amendment. Well, we have a Fifth Amendment, a 14th Amendment. We can't be selective. We have to support all of the Constitution. Condo owners have deeds from the county down to the mean high water line. It is private property. We respect the rights of people to access the beach. Taking away property, taking half or more of our property and saying, oh, this is a modest proposal, is a lot like cutting the baby in half. It's not going to solve a problem that we really want to solve, improve legal access to the beaches on Indigo, or like the Indigo has and the other owners have on Perdido Key. I applaud you for taking time to be deliberate in this. I sent a long, very detailed message to all of you a couple days ago about the deficiencies in the process. I think you are addressing some of those. We need to go out and get the evidence. We need to be very fact-driven. Commissioner May said, we don't want to pick a fight that we can't win. Look at all the legal arguments, the cases. This is the fight that you can't win. You can do things that will truly help improve legal access and use of the beaches. We all want that. We're not bad people. We want our constitutional rights protected just like everybody else, and we can't pick and choose which one. The whole Constitution applies, Fifth and 14th Amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Vic Hartman. And after Vic will be Kevin Manuel.
Okay, Madam Commissioners and County Attorney, I'm speaking on customary use of the beaches on Perdido Key, and I want to just make 2 points. One is how it affects me, and then two, how it affects you. How it affects me is I've been coming to these beaches since I was a little boy and had the desire to live.
Hey, Vic, use the microphone.
And had a desire to live on the beach and saved and worked hard, and I was fortunate later in life to buy a condo and live that life dream. I see a sunset and a sunrise, and the experience is awesome. But how it affects me is if these commissioners, or if you commissioners pass such an ordinance, it would be a regulatory taking, and to me it would feel like each of you grabbed into my wallet and pulled out an economic benefit and distributed it, and it would be my economic value that you're taking. That's how it would affect me. How it would affect you. If customary use ordinance is passed on day one, on day two, I will guarantee you there will be a lawsuit filed seeking an injunction to stop the enforcement of that, and then litigation will pursue. Litigation will be expensive for the plaintiffs. Litigation will be expensive for defendant Escambia County. Most assuredly, the county attorney has at this point educated you that for the county to win in court, the county will have the burden of showing that the public use on dry sand has been four things: ancient, reasonable, without interruption, and free from dispute. In my learned and educated opinion, the county cannot meet any of those burdens, and yet it has the burden to meet all four. This is a loser, and it's a waste of litigation cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kevin Manuel. And after Kevin will be Connie Walker.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Manuel, 13621 Perdido Key Drive. I'm an owner and currently secretary of the Indigo Condominium Board. I'm opposed to customary use, but I would suggest that if you are seriously considering that, then why stop with the beach? There's lots of waterfront property owned by people in this county, and I'm sure the public would like to be able to go there and fish and picnic in people's backyards. If you're going to consider that, why stop there? Lots of land has wildlife that people like to hunt. Why not just open that up for anybody to come in? In all those cases, the landowner decides how and when and how to manage that property. And so this should be no different. There is a scenario, though, where the county has land and they're the landowner. And so I would respectfully request that you focus your energy on improving the land that you own, that you can make more available and accessible to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Connie Walker. And Chris Kerb, you will be after Connie Walker.
Connie Walker, President of Perdido Key Association. Perdido Beach has good news updates. First of all, Perdido beaches are currently in full swing mode for snowbirds, spring breakers, and families. Last weekend, a rescue tube was used to save a distressed swimmer. The rescue tube program was brought to Perdido by Perdido Rotarian Steve Stroberger. Rescue tubes are on all public accesses in Perdido and Perdido State Park. In addition, private beachfront owners have installed some on their beaches. Second of all, excuse me, while Commissioner Hoffberger is pursuing a waiver or reduction in entrance fees at Johnson Beach, the good news is that there's a total of 11 entrance-free fee dates at Johnson Beach to fill a total of 478 parking spaces. We already have started the process of February 16th, President's Day. Our next one will be May 2nd. A lot of our commissioners do go on Rosamond Johnson Day and are there for the ceremony. May 25th, Memorial Day. June 14th, Flag Day, President Trump's birthday. July 3rd through 5th, 3 days free. August 25th, the 110th birthday of the National Park Service. September 17th, Constitution Day. October 27th, Theodore Roosevelt's birthday. November 11th, Veterans Day. Again, a total of 11 entrance-free, free dates for the public to use. Thank you, Commissioners, and Perdido has reasons to wave the flag about.
Thank you. Chris Kerb, you're next. In addition to that, if you are a military veteran, you can download the free park pass for all state and national parks.
Chris Kerb, I'm in Flood Defenders. First of all, I would like to give a hand for Jerry Cooey over here and what he had to say on the First Amendment and our rights to speak. But I want to go to the heart of the matter. Why is Andrew Bloor coming up here and been coming up here for 30 years raising hell with you guys? Well, there's a little history there. It's all about the sins of the past. It's about regulations that weren't in place or should have been in place. It was about a stormwater pond that was functioning at Midas and Muldoon that got filled in by a property owner because he got a land disturbing permit. A permit submitted to me when I worked for you guys that I would refuse to sign. The county engineer signed it, and it ended up going into a lot of lawsuit stuff, legal stuff. It's funny how our laws end up coming out of legal stuff. But county ended up buying that, or ending up with that property through the lawsuit, and we ended up putting the pond back. In the meantime, all our developments built in this area, Bellevue and Muldoon, were built using old rainfall data and old regulations, and went until 2015 when, after the April 2014, it's actually updated to a 100-year storm, the national standard. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about this a little bit later with my Flood Defender shirt on, but y'all guys need to take a look at your regulations, your policies on the First Amendment, please.
Thank you, Chris. Donnie Ray White.
Before you end up in another lawsuit.
Thank you, Chris. Donnie Ray White, you're next, and Charles Krupnick, you'll be after Donnie. Do we have a Donnie Ray White? Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
The reason for me being here today is I need the board to help me. I had a piece of real estate that I acquired through foreclosure. And the judge said I could have it, and I took it. And then found out the county got 2 liens on it. And I have spoken to everybody that will talk to me. And listen, they've all been polite. I mean, they're trying to help me. And I appreciate it, by the way. But I think the easy way to do my situation is y'all were served when my attorney filed my case. Y'all were on the top of a list of 13 people, so it was a pretty bad situation. Well, come court day, nobody from Escambia County showed up to court. Now, if y'all followed the law, the judge dismissed all of these. And I'm told that once they do that, you can't turn around, bring it back up. So I'm making a request that you guys, and I'll get with any one of them, you know. And Mr. May, I appreciate y'all calling me back. This is simple. If the court makes a decision, y'all should stand with it. And I've asked these people, and every one of them, you know what they said? Go to the Board of County Commissioners. So here I am.
Thank you, Donnie. We appreciate it. If it's a code enforcement issue, Tim Day is over here and he's waving his hand and he said he can help you. If it's something we can get on the agenda, I'm sure Tim will work with you to make that happen. Tim, if you'll wave one more time. Right there. There we go. Thank you so much. Charles Krepnick, you're next. And then after Charles will be Jennifer Yanzuni.
Charles Krupnick, 14500 River Road, a PKA director, and opposed to customary use on Perdido Key. Signs are a part of the customary use debate. I'd like to talk about those. Proponents of customary use would like a minimum of signage, but then argue how people make free use of the private beaches, definitely having their cake and eat it too. Beach property owners should follow the Escambia County ordinance calling for one sign within 10 feet of the dune line on property boundaries. But the rule does not do a good job of identifying private from public property. As we argued in the 2022 debates on signage leading to the one sign decision, a visitor entering a county public beach access location may see the one sign near the dunes, but could make the easiest presumption that the rest of the beach is open to the public. A solution could be more prominent Escambia County public-private directions at beach access locations. Beach access number 4 does not have any county signs discussing public-private beach boundaries. Access number 3 has an informative and polite sign on the topic, but it's located at the entrance to the parking area, not at the beach walk entrance where it would be useful. Access number 2 does not have a sign, but access number 1, about which there is so much discussion, has one on the walking path entrance, plus another at the dune line near La Playa. These are pretty small signs, among many others. Once we are past the current discussion on customary use, and hopefully ruled in favor of private property rights, the current sign ordinance should be reviewed and modifications considered. Larger county signs would be great, as would allowing properties immediately adjacent to public beach access locations to post 3 signs, again, to give those property owners a reasonable chance of informing the public about their private beaches. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jennifer, you're next, and Julie Patton will be after Jennifer.
Hi, thank you so much. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
I would like to respectfully raise a concern regarding public access to the Library Board of Governance meeting minutes and agendas. Materials prior to the current calendar year are not available online. This concern has been raised previously and remains unresolved. Florida's Sunshine Law and Public Records Law require open meetings and accessible records. While records may exist internally, accessibility in both the letter and the spirit of the law means that citizens should be able to review governance history without submitting special requests or encountering barriers, particularly during this sensitive period which the county is hiring our next library services director. Transparency should be at its highest standard. Public confidence in leadership begins with confidence in process. Sunshine is not simply about technical compliance. It is about proactive openness and maintaining that trust with our community. I respectfully ask that the county prioritize restoring full online access to past board minutes and agendas so that our community can remain fully informed. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Julie. Robert Carlson, and then after Robert will be, oh, I'm sorry, that was Jennifer. Julie, you're next, and then Robert Carlson.
Check, check. Check 1, 2. All right. Hello. My name's Robert Carlson. Commissioner, how you doing, sir? We have a new chairperson, I see. It's an upgrade since the last one. No offense, Steve, but lovely. You couldn't be more lovely. Did you receive my letter? If you had a chance to read it, it's probably going to be hard to explain everything in 2 minutes. But what I would like to bring to your attention is that I had a code enforcement fine, and they charged me a punitive fee because it was the second one. And the only thing that was up there was a tractor in cantonment, and my understanding is you're not allowed to have a vehicle there that doesn't have a tag, but you normally don't tag tractors. You have a triangle on them. So if you could just, I didn't do it as a, trying to, out of spite or anything. I didn't have a mower that could cut it, so I used the big tires. They're about this high to trample it down, and I got it stuck, so. Wow.
Seems like this is a code enforcement thing you need help with?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct? Okay, Tim Day's over here. Tim, I'm so thankful for you. Tim can help you out with that. If it's something that can come in front of us, he'll also help us get that on the agenda.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you. Julie Patton.
I'm Julie Patton from 612 Gerhardt, 32503. I want to make some general comments about the continued interference by partisan public officials in institutions of higher learning in Escambia County. I'm a person who is very passionate about education, the availability of resources to pursue it, and so forth. And I'm really frustrated with overreach by public officials who come in and violate what has been established by a process in which people have made careful choices. I'm also frustrated with the amount of money being spent on lawsuits. The book banning lawsuit right now with the school board is at $1 million and counting. And the takeover of UWF and Pensacola State College will certainly generate lawsuits. One of the items that'll be considered later by this county board is also certain to generate lawsuits because it goes against professionalism and qualifications and so forth. I'll be speaking about that at the agenda point. But just in general, I would love to see county officials and the people who work for them trying to make things work in the county rather than using cronyism to get candidates accepted who have not gone through the normal process and don't have the qualifications. So please, use our money more carefully. I have not made a lot of money in my life, and I don't want to see it furthered away. And I care a lot about what happens in this
Thank you,
community.
Julie. Keith Wilkins, you're next. And then after Keith will be Eliza Lynch.
Good evening, Keith Wilkins, 520 South 2nd Street. I'd rather be anywhere than here right now, but anyway. The first thing I'd like to do is thank Commissioner Stroberger and Mr. Krupnik for arranging the meeting the other day for us to try to talk about the compromise agreement or compromise and come to at least establish some dialogue. And we did that. I drafted the compromise position with input from a lot of folks that are here, but I'm the author of it, of splitting the baby. We did agree, though, on several points, which I really appreciate, on Access 1 and on signage, which Mr. Krupnik spoke to, and also on the Gulf Islands National Seashore, appealing to them to reduce the rates on their fees. So that's great. But the big item of compromise for the setbacks and easement, we didn't agree on at all. There was, I guess, a unanimous vote by the board of PKA that they were going to reject that and not compromise at all. The customary use doctrine established by the state of Florida was indeed a compromise. In 1974, I think it was, the judge ruled to protect the public access historically enjoyed by the citizens of Florida, to prevent exclusion by private owners of the beaches of Florida, to balance private property rights with public tradition, and to support tourism in our coastal culture. I don't see any of that happening right now. So I also feel like the compromise is reasonable, which is one of the standards. I feel like it is a long-standing tradition, ancient tradition, and I ask you to support customary use or the easement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keith. Eliza, and then Alex Arderney will be after Eliza.
Good evening. I'm Elisa Lynch. I live at 10164 Bittern. My husband and I came to visit Escambia County 3 years ago. I had been looking for a place to retire. I had been here as a child. I remembered the beaches. When we came here to visit on a journey to try to find where we were going to retire, what was it that brought us here? It was the beaches. I see it on the county logo. There's the Blue Angels. We love the Blue Angels. There's the beach. That's what made this a place that we wanted to retire. I did not know when we bought our home that there were beaches that I would not be allowed to walk on. I came from a state where all beaches are public access. I did notice out in Perdido, which we live near Perdido Key, that there are very few places where we can even park to get to the beach, which was disappointing to me. We did buy passes for Johnson's Beach, and I know not everybody can afford it. It's very expensive. One day I forgot my pass, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna just have to park at this tiny little place. I got a spot, and I didn't know that as I walked out there, I was trespassing because I wasn't on the wet sand. It's outrageous to me. Really outrageous. And I strongly urge you to restore customary use, which is a term I never heard of until very recently. But the beaches should be here for all of us. This is a huge county, and the beaches are such a treasure. So I hope that you will listen to the voices of the greater county and not just the homeowners who have the privilege of living right on the beach or owning a condo right on the beach. Thank you for hearing my comments.
Alex, you're up, and then after Alex will be Larry Downs Jr.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, esteemed commissioners. I want to start off publicly thanking Commissioner Mike Kohler and his staff for his attention this past few weeks, Terrence Davis and his staff at Environmental Code Enforcement, John Robinson and his staff at the Animal Shelter. They've been great, and I just want to commend them publicly. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, as well. I would also like to give a special thank you before I get into everything here to our Sheriff Chip Simmons, who took time out of his day this morning to reach out to me personally. So I just want to say thank you. This is a 4-year-long story to get where we are today. It will take much longer than my 2 minutes, so you're going to get the 2-minute summary. We live peacefully in our home on Peninsula Drive, 32526. For the last 12 years, 14 years, 12 years peacefully until 2020, when everything changed. My wife and I lobbied this board to reopen our beaches. We defeated the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates, kind of put ourselves out there in a way that we've never done before. And from that point on, our neighbors changed, and we were enemy number one at that point. In December of 2024, I was forced to enter my name and information to file a valid code complaint. When code officers investigated my valid complaint, the officers also found additional unreported violations. This board and code are currently in active code litigation with my neighbors due to the violations the one violation I reported and the others that were found. Again, I was forced to put my name just to have code enforcement investigate due to the 2021 law that was put in place. In late July, early August of 2025, just this past year, the neighbors began throwing feces at our home and property.
Thank you, Alex. Your time is up, and that is definitely something you can reach out
Appreciate
to
it.
Commissioner Kohler about. Larry Downs Jr., you're next, and Jacob Rockwell, you will be after Larry Downs Jr. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Larry Downs Jr. Plumbing LLC, because fecal matters. Man, I've been dealing with fecal matter my whole life. And then, my whole life. And then I started back in 2006 coming to these meetings, dealing with more fecal matter. It's true. I got to use my catchphrase. I'm afraid I have to. With all due respect, I hope y'all don't violate my rights. But holy shit, what do we have going on here today?
Larry, we do live stream, so it's an FCC thing. So if I'm letting you know what can happen. If we have people who cuss, we will have to stop live streaming because we will be fined by the FCC. So I hope you will help us continue to allow public forum to be live streamed.
Okay, I'd like to reclaim my time. Thank you.
Continue on.
No, I understand that. The problem is, we have to bend our rights so we can live stream this. Nah, I'm live right here. There's no point. They can watch it later. If they want to watch it live, they can come here. But the main thing is that the emotions that take place in this country, all across this country. I wanted to bring, some boxes of tissues for y'all, because you got to have a thick skin. I've told y'all this before. Lumen's heard it. As a referee, you got to have a thick skin. As a politician, an elected official, you got to have a thick skin. You have to have tolerance for people to have frustration. You cannot violate their rights because you feel in some sort of emotional way. That's just not acceptable. Jerry Cooey he's completely correct. Please don't be violating these people's rights, including my own. My neighbor's rights are more important than mine because if my neighbor don't have their rights, I don't have mine. I was even told I couldn't spell it by Commissioner Barry. House Bill 1756 got passed for medical freedom on Tuesday by the Senate. That allows ivermectin to be sold over the counter and more vaccine exemptions. for those who don't believe in corporate chemical vaccine injections. So, and don't waste our time. I
Thank you,
reclaimed
Larry.
10
We
seconds while
appreciate
you
it.
were talking. I'm sorry.
Jacob Rockwell, you're
don't-
next.
Don't waste our
Larry,
time
please
with
have a seat.
lawsuits over this.
Thank you, sir. Larry, please have a seat. Jacob Rockwell, you're next. Thank you.
Over this.
And
cus-
Francesca, you will be after Jacob.
This is America, and in America we have certain inalienable rights that are enshrined in our Constitution, one of which being the very first of those rights, the freedom of speech. This right gives us the authority to redress our government officials in a caustic and even inflammatory way. That means that during our allotted time, you do not have the authority to interrupt, heckle, or otherwise silence us before that time is finished. Time and time again, I've stood in the back and watched almost every single one of you violate someone's right by interrupting them and taking up their time. Y'all are offended by everything and ashamed of nothing. Nobody out here is allowed to heckle or interrupt y'all during y'all's time, so why do you think it's okay to do it to us? You get to break decorum whenever you want, but we must abide? Rules of decorum for thee, but not for me, does not fly. You are not lords of a fief, you are public servants. If y'all can't handle someone coming up here and saying things you don't like without interrupting them and throwing a temper tantrum like big babies, then some of y'all should probably resign. I have seen more professional behavior at a Girl Scout cookie stand. If someone says something y'all don't like, put on your big boy britches and get over it. Ms. Hoffberger, rules of decorum go both ways. Y'all interrupting people and breaking those rules while enforcing them strictly on the public is petty tyranny. Furthermore, your rules of decorum cannot be used to overrule the Constitution of the United States and used as a cudgel for viewpoint discrimination. Both our 11th Circuit and SCOTUS have reaffirmed this numerous times. On top of the couple dozen federal cases, here in Florida we have Moms for Liberty, Brevard County, v. Brevard County, and McDonough v. Garcia. In the former case, that county school board saddled their taxpayers with a $500,000 settlement they were forced to pay to the moms for doing exactly what you did. When I asked, our county attorney could not give me a single case that gives you the right to silence and kick us out during our time, certainly not ban us. Not one case. So think about that before wiping your rear ends with the Constitution again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Francesca, it looks like you're speaking about the library, which is actually an agenda item. Can we move you? Okay, you can go on and come up for customary use. Can you make sure to add? And we have added you to the agenda item as well.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Okay. I heard a lot of things about people talking about how the beach works. So I go surfing at Pensacola Beach and everyone's talking about signs. The way that the dunes work, there's a lot of condos on Pensacola Beach that are very fancy and very things, and it's coming serious. There's dunes, there's a boardwalk, everyone goes and walks on the beach, and everyone's really nice. In the last meeting, I was a little insulted by all these people at Indigo saying that everyone goes onto their properties and steals stuff and is really rude. But it is pretty simple. Model it how the rest of Pensacola Beach is. You have the boardwalks, you have these big fancy condos, big fancy houses. No one seems to be bothered. And you have the boardwalks, you go over there, it's protected by the dunes, everyone has access to the water. And I just want you to know that the people of Pensacola are not thieves. The Publix are not thieves. You know, I come from a nice family. You know, I have left my sandals, my surfboard, everything, have walked away, and everyone is good people. It's just because you're able to buy a $400,000 or $500,000 condo doesn't mean that you get the whole entire beach. You know, and I think that's something that y'all need to think about, that everyone should be able to walk down the beach just like they do on Pensacola Beach. So it's just like on Pensacola Beach, you set it up that way, and fair is fair. That's all I have to really say about the commissary
Thank
beach.
you. Mitch Johnson, you're next, and Mary Booth will be after Mitch.
Good evening. My name is Mitch Johnson. I'm a pastor of the Point Church on Jackson Street on West Jackson Street, and I have the honor to pray tonight. Thank you for Miss Dorothy giving me the invite for that as well. So I think this is probably the most important thing that we can do, so let's pray. No, this is not the time?
No, we have to do public forum first, and then
Gotcha.
we'll do it.
Okay.
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 But if you want to spend your minute praying, it is your First Amendment right to do so.
We may need it.
I'll do it twice then. That's fine with me. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
All right,
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I'm a pastor, so I like a good microphone anyway. So, Father, we thank you so much for how you provide for us. You created all things. You're above all things. You're in control of all things. Lord, I pray for this meeting that it would continue to be edifying to you and not just merely ourselves. Lord, I know in leadership, so many times that you can be misunderstood without a great opportunity to explain yourself. So, Lord, I pray, as we're commanded in Scripture, to trust our leadership. We're also thankful for opportunities to share our thoughts and opinions in that. And so, Lord, as I'll pray in just a minute again, Lord, I pray that this would be edifying to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair, I don't think we've ever had that before, but thank you very much.
I would welcome that anytime. Mary Booth, you're next, and Norman Jeter will be after Mary Booth.
Hi, I'm Mary Booth. I live at 7612 Kipling Street, which is off of Olive Road. I've lived there like 20-something years. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Collier and Don Christian and others with the County Commissioner District 4 that have come to recognizing when I call them sometime with the pickup of all the debris and mess on our street, because I love to keep it green. I walk around and pick up trash when I take my walk, all the way to Atwood walking track, which has had the fence pushed down into the walking track area. And we have no lights there to walk at night if we choose to. And also we have another problem. On Kipling Street, there's a lot of children walk to school, which is right near there. There is no sidewalk. And the street has no markings of speed limits, speed bumps, or anything. And at night in places it's dark and we can't see the people, 3 people across with a dog walking. And sometimes they wear dark clothes. We really need some more assistance there. And I want to thank the county for having Mr. James, I don't know his last name, with the county road, coming out, and he overwhelmed me with all of this equipment repairing things that needed to be done, like the drainage systems and everything. And I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I made a note of the walking track. Thank you so
And
much.
one more thing, please. Olive Road, where Davis and Olive joined together right there, the road is in such bad condition.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Norman, you're up, and Neil Johnson will be after Norman.
Hey, thank you for giving me this time to speak. 5514 Bobolink Road. My name's Norman Jeter. Concerning this whole beach mess, first thing that comes to my mind, or one of many things that come to my mind, is there's over 300,000 people that live in Escambia County, and we've got 1,500, 2,000 property owners, and yet you guys are working on taking the beach away from 300,000 people. It's ridiculous. I grew up on the beach. We moved there in 1970, and customary use is just was always a fact of life out there. The entire beach was open. It was understood that the high water line was where the dunes begun and the green growth begun, and all that dry white sand that belonged to the public or whoever wanted to use it. There was never, ever a problem with it. In fact, in the 70s, they would drive Jeeps and beach buggies up and down the beach. And if that's not customary use in the worst way, I don't know what is. But the mere fact is, if that was considered private property then, there would not be people allowed to drive on private property. That beach belonged to the public, and it'll always belong to the public. You guys think that you own the land all the way to the water? I don't know who told you that, but there's no way that they've surveyed that property to go all the way to the water's edge. And the high water mark is where traditionally the highest tides, the high tides, the average of high tides. The reason there's nothing growing on the white sand on the beach is because eventually the water gets high enough to wash it away, and then it comes back. The beach is constantly changing, and over the years I've got pictures of the beach being carved by the high surf all the way to the dune line.
Thank you, Norman. We
All right.
appreciate it. Neil Johnson, you're next. And Brad Bishop. Brad Bishop, you will be after Neil. Neil Johnson.
Good afternoon, Board, Chairman Hoffberger. There's terms sometimes we use and we really don't think about what those terms are. Let's talk about sexual assault. The essence of sexual assault is any form of unwanted sexual contact that takes place without clear voluntary consent. It's a violation of a person's sexual integrity. Attackers use physical restraint, beating, choking, slapping, and weapons to overpower the victim. Commissioner Kohler's comment on Representative Salzman's personal Facebook page regarding her sexual assault I found to be offensive, insulting, and there was absolutely no value added. Commissioner Kohler, based upon your leadership position on this board, you are held to a higher standard. Some of the effects of rape include anxiety, PTSD, flashbacks, nightmares. Sexual violence impacts the overall health of victims. The Facebook post that Mike Kohler applied to had nothing to do with sexual assault. It was one of many motivational quotes that I see from Michelle about bravery, about values, about overcoming anxiety. Mike Kohler commented about sexual assault, and then he mixed in county business about a road project. I mean, what was the point? Has there been an apology from Commissioner Kohler? If I had reviewed on instant replay and realized that I had knowingly offended someone else, I would immediately contact that other person and offer a sincere and genuine apology. Has there been a real apology? So, Commissioner Kohler, what would be your stance or your thoughts if someone made a comment about the rape that occurred with one of your family members? Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Brad Bishop. And after Brad Bishop will be Lily Eubanks.
Brad Bishop, Director of Offensive Corps. I want to address the same thing. It reaches beyond a single comment or disagreement between leaders. When public leaders speak, their words carry influence. They shape the tone of our community, and they signal to others what is taken seriously and what is not. When sexual assault is referenced in a way that minimizes or diminishes someone, it can have a broader impact. For many in our community, sexual assault is not a political topic, it's a deeply personal trauma. Here in Northwest Florida, organizations like Offensive and the Gulf Coast Sexual Assault Program, we work with survivors every day. Many of them are afraid to speak about what happened to them. A large number never pursue justice. Instead, they simply just try to escape. This is why the tone set by leaders matters. Our community has people working every day to build trust so that victims feel safe enough to come forward, report crimes against them, and reasonably expect to be heard and treated with dignity. So moments like this are opportunities for all of us, especially leaders, to reinforce that message. Sexual assault is a serious issue, and victims in our community deserve respect, support, and justice.
Thank you, Brad. Lily Eubanks and Clover Lawson, you will be after Lily.
I'd like to speak about professionalism. It's defined as the consistent exhibition of high-level competency, ethical behavior, and respectful conduct in the workplace. It combines specialized knowledge with things like integrity, accountability, and reliability to boost your trust. The Board of Governors of the West Florida Public Library System demonstrated a high level of professionalism in their long and thorough search for a new director of the West Florida Library System. They followed the rules for the selection process and kept in mind requirements for filing the position. They were guided by Florida Statute 257.17. They were well aware that if they didn't hire someone with a master's degree in library science, our public libraries could become ineligible for hundreds of thousands of dollars in state grant money. After careful consideration, they unanimously chose Bradley Vinson to be the new director based on her years of experience in public and school libraries, as well as her experience since 2023 of being the coordinator of the Escambia County School System Media Service. In that job, she successfully managed a $11 million budget. The Board of Governors made the right choice. I have observed Ms. Benson over many years working with the school board and book review committees. I participated in training sessions she directed. She has always maintained a very professional atmosphere in her interaction with others, no matter what their point of view or where they come from or their attitude they approach her with. She treats everyone with respect and dignity. She has worked extremely hard.
Thank you, Lily. We appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Clover Lawson, you're next. And B. Thomas, you'll be after Clover.
Hi, my name is Clover Lawson. I'm from Cantonment, and I want to address Commissioner Collier. What you did questioning Representative Salzman's story cast doubt on a proven, documented assault. The way you offered support was like punching someone in the face and then saying, "I love you." That is not support. That's the behavior of an abuser. Statistics state 1 in 3 female veterans report military sexual trauma. In the U.S., someone is sexually assaulted almost every minute. Every 9 minutes, that someone is a child. Those are not claims, those are facts. Representative Salzman's assault was not a claim either. It was proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Her attacker was sentenced. Yet 20 years later, here you come bringing it up again, attaching her trauma to a road project and offering hollow support for something she works every single day to put behind her. You took her PTSD and hurled it at her like a grenade. Whatever that was your intention or not, the shrapnel hits others. Everyone in this room who has survived sexual assault, domestic violence, or trauma was hit too. You have not issued a single apology. Your response was to call her a professional victim. That stopped being a mistake. That became a pattern. You are setting a precedent that every survivor brave enough to speak publicly can be attacked again and again for the rest of their lives. That will not stand. If you want to criticize her publicly, do it on her policy, but you don't get to use someone's trauma as a political weapon. You need to resign.
Thank you, Clover. Mama B, you're next. And after Mama B is Charlotte O'Laughlin.
I want to say something right quick, and I thank God for being here. When they said something about prayer, I was praying, and I seen your expression with the prayer. Prayer is very important. I really don't understand you at all, from the gentleman that I met that was running for office that you in now. That just made me just You know, I don't know what the problem is, sir, but I do know one thing. It's nothing wrong with prayer. Anytime, 24 hours, 7 days a week. You need that. Everybody needs that. And I don't think anything was funny about it. But you was busy over there smurfing around. You need it now. Because what you did was unnecessary. We don't do eye for eye and do things to hurt one another. We're supposed to work together in this country. The community needs you. But you failed the community by labeling other women's of what they have done in the past. I'm one of them that have got hurt like that way too. I'm here to tell people now, anybody that can bull them around and bully them, they don't need the position that they in. You don't need that. If you can sit here and say that, love shows love. Professionalism shows that. Do what you was hired to do. If you can't do the job, resign. Enough is enough. We're not taking this. When you represent us, you're supposed to represent them all. It's not hand in hand, evil for evil, and all of these things that's going on now. Yes, I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you with Mama B spirit. I'm tired of this. Get off the pot or resign.
Thank you, Mama B. Charlotte, you're up. And Grace Rolfe will be after Charlotte.
A true leader should inspire the next generation. So what message does it send when Commissioner Kohler, upset about a road project funding, goes on Facebook and publicly posts Michelle Salzman's sexual trauma in what appears to be retaliation? Sexual abuse should never be used as a tool for revenge, leverage, or a political scoreboard. Once that information posted, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. The damage is done. The humiliation, the re-traumatization, the public exposure, those consequences are real and are lasting. There has been a public apology to the media, and while public apologies are important, accountability must go deeper than a statement released to the media. True accountability means reaching out privately and sincerely to the person who was harmed, and that, to this day, has not been done. Because of what happened, I am asking meaningful action be taken and clear rules of decorum be implemented both online and in public for all county commissioners and board members. There must be standards of conduct and recourse when those standards are violated. No one who serves in public office should be able to weaponize someone's sexual trauma without consequences. And that has been done, Mr. Kohler, to Representative Michelle Salzman. And sexual survivors are watching, and the voters are watching. And sexual abuse should never be used as a weapon to carry the weight of it and be used in a political dispute.
Thank you, Charlotte. Grace, you're next. And after Grace, we have Megan Boggs.
Hi there. My name is Grace Rolfe. I'm a victim advocate at Gulf Coast Sexual Assault Program. And I just came today to kind of spread some awareness and just plug our resource in for people who might need it, any survivors. We serve counties all the way from Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, and Escambia. And I just came today to let everyone know that we have that resource out there, and our hotline number is 24/7. If you type in Gulf Coast Sexual Assault Program on Google, it'll come up. It's 866-585-2040. Like I said, 24/7. Ask for any just kind of statistics to throw out there to just kind of spread awareness on the topic and the subject. We had 77 cases this past quarter with our corporation, and 37 of those were in Escambia County. And out of those were 37 that were reported to law enforcement, but we were able to administer 42 kits to survivors who wanted the exams done. We do have that resource available for anyone who might need it. We serve historical and active victims of of sexual assault. And we're here for the community. Like I said, our biggest thing is that we have trauma therapy free to anyone who might need it. You do not ever have to have a report. You just come to us, you call that hotline and say that you want that resource and that you're a fellow survivor of sexual assault. And that's just why I came here today. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Grace. We appreciate it. Megan Boggs, you're next, and after Megan will be Stephen Odell.
Good evening. My name is Megan Boggs, and I'm a domestic violence survivor. My ex-husband, Matthew Anthony D'Angelo, Chief in the United States Navy, was arrested on January 8th, 2026 on 16 counts of horrific crimes against children under the age of 10. For over a decade, I begged and pleaded for help to stop the deviant man I know him to be before it got this horrendous. Not one, but two of his alleged survivors are residents of Escambia County. So imagine our horror when we saw a county commissioner use his public platform while displaying a photo of himself in his naval uniform to launch a malicious attack against a representative of the state of Florida and a woman with an eerily similar story. Commissioner, your actions raise an important question. If you are willing to speak with such disgrace in a public forum, what are you willing to say behind closed doors? There will be a day when I can say more about my story, but to protect the integrity of ongoing investigations, I will simply agree with Representative Salzman and state, God and karma keep the score. Commissioner, I would like to invite you to lunch. While I do not offer forgiveness at this time, and I believe that is between you and the higher power you answer to, I am offering the opportunity for you to do better. I invite you to sit down privately and learn what the survivors of Matthew in your district are actually facing, and the need for greater resources within our hospitals, police departments, and organizations that support survivors. And to the leaders in this room, this is not just a Commissioner Kohler problem. This is a systematic problem in our community. And I, for one, am tired of watching good leaders sit silent while those in power avoid accountability. Commissioner, if you are unwilling to back your apologies with real action for the survivors everywhere, then sadly I agree with the calls for you to resign. But as someone with a kind, forgiving heart,
Thank you,
I
Megan.
hope you've seen the pain you've caused.
Stephen Odell, you're next. Thank you, Megan. We appreciate it. After Stephen will be Shannon Kohler.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here to speak on behalf of Mike. I've known Mike for 40 years, and I can tell you, and he'd be the first to admit, that he's not perfect, but he has 55 years of doing things right. He's been an upstanding man since I first met him, probably in his late teens when he was stationed at the Navy Hospital. He entered in the Navy, he pre-enlisted and could have gone to have a full ride in college on an athletic scholarship. And when he talked to the coach looked at him and said, hey, we can get you out of this contract. And Mike looked at him and said, I'm going to honor my name and honor my commitment. And I just wonder how many of us would have done the same thing or taken the easy way out. Probably most of us would. But Mike honored his commitment, served honorably, will continue to serve honorably, and he'll make things right. I've been with him through an ugly divorce where accusation after accusation was delivered against him, every single time being contrived and untrue. Been with him through his courtship and his marriage with his wife Shannon, while they tried to hold the house together with godly principles, ethical and moral stability, and I've seen ex-wives subvert that at every opportunity. He's overcome a lot, and I have faith in his integrity and his honesty, and things will be made right. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is Shannon Kohler, and after Shannon is Scott Bollinger.
Good evening. I'm Shannon Kohler. I'm at this podium today. Last time I was up here with my husband, he was being sworn in as County Commissioner for District 2. This was a true blessing for the both of us. Now I'm speaking on behalf of his wife. I had some other stuff that I was going to speak about, but some things have turned differently, so I'm not even going to bring that up. But I do want to say that I know that Mike realizes his comments have been worded differently from being a nurse for 34 years. It's ridiculous that make accusations that he doesn't care about sexual assault victims. I know this personally because I've seen how much he cares. Mike and I have prayed and truly have no revenge in our hearts. As believers, we recognize the true solution isn't always something that can be explained with words, but is found through faith, hope, and prayer. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Scott Bollinger, and Annie Bollinger will be after Scott.
Commissioners, thank you for having me today. I'm retired Navy Counselor Senior Chief Scott Bollinger, and these are my words. I've known Commissioner Mike Kohler for a very long time. Mike is a man of service to his community, starting with his untarnished record of a commitment, beginning at the lowest pay grade of E1 and passing through 13 pay grades to Navy captain with impeccable leadership. This should stand alone, reflecting his character, because you don't make it that far with anything other than a stellar record. Mike has the record that no one here in this room is qualified to judge. Additionally, I know he stood directly face-to-face as a Navy nurse with incarcerated terrorists that despised him and treated him like scum, while showing compassion and care for them, spitting at them while he provided for their needs. I'm sure he would do the same thing in any circumstance he was ever confronted with, and I'm sure he's going to make everything right. I know this because I've traveled the globe with Mike and witnessed his compassion for other human beings. I've witnessed him bringing clothing on most every trip to foreign countries that we've been on for the less fortunate that we are sure to encounter. I've seen him remain calm even in the tensest situations. Mike is heavily involved in our community. He's helped raise through his own time, money, commitment, millions of dollars for local and national community by actively participating in events with Northeast Pensacola-Sertoma, which stands for Service to Mankind. He started a charitable fundraiser known as Rock and Fly half marathon benefit the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society that fed all its money back into lowest level sailors, soldiers, and airmen that needed it in times of crisis. I'd be remiss to mention that when I asked Mike before he ran for county commissioner why he would ever want to put himself in the political position for people to scrutinize him as he tries to do good as a prospective commissioner, he told me this, quote, "Because I love our country, and especially the people of Pensacola, I am committed to service and truly care about the people," unquote. Mike has been a very vocal member of our Board of Commissioners because he stands up for what he believes to be right and asks hard questions in the face of adversity instead of simply going with the status quo. He doesn't just simply ask the hard questions because he is.
Thank you,
I'm out of
Scott.
time.
Ann, you're next, and then Cheryl, you'll be after Ann.
Hi, I'm Ann Bollinger, here at character witness for Mike Kohler. Mike's financially stable, retired from the military, as you've heard, after 30 years of service. He did not serve because he needs a job. He serves because he cares. He tackles each issue with enthusiasm and the goal to do the right thing for the people of Escambia County. His decisions are not based on which powerful individual is going to contribute to his campaign or publicly back him. He champions causes that benefit the constituents rather than his bank account. Mike is extremely intelligent, compassionate, and his decisions and opinions are an accumulation of a life of service to his country, extensive research on the issue at hand, thorough consideration of the options, solutions, and ramifications to arrive at the best outcome for Escambia County. Mike is genuine. After hearing him speak or speaking with him, you will have no misconceptions on where he stands on an issue. Very refreshing in a political leader. Mike is not a yes man. He takes his role as commissioner seriously and doesn't agree with the group just to be agreeable. He doesn't give input unless he's actually researched and contemplated an issue. He's not afraid to call a spade, regardless of who may be offended. Anyone who knows Mike is wondering how his character could be brought into question. It's obviously all the speakers here talking about Michelle Sells, our representative. I think we have to look at what the issue is. Abuse is a very real issue, and people should get assistance on it. But if you're saying we need to separate the political, Michelle Salzman has kind of based her political career on being raped. I've seen her speak twice, and that was what she talked about. I have seen her speak twice, and that's all she talked about.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Ms. Crenshaw, ladies, thank you. Ms. Crenshaw.
Good evening. I'm here. My name is Cheryl Crenshaw, and I'm here as a character witness for Commissioner Kohler. I worked as civil service at the Navy Hospital for over 40 years. I have known Mike, Captain Kohler, retired Nurse Corps, for over 30 years. I have worked with him. I have heard of, that I'm a social worker. I'm an MSW, a social worker by profession. I know that there was a FAP. He went to FAP with his, which is Family Advocacy Committee at NAS, and he had 2 little girls, a 2 and a 4-year-old, and he had custody of them. He raised those little girls by himself until he married Shannon. And I can't tell you what a honest person he is to work with. You don't have to agree with him, but I have worked with him for 30 years in the department when he was at the Navy Hospital, and he's the same person I met over 30 years ago as he is today. I have never heard a negative thing out of his mouth or heard anything negative from anybody else that has worked with him at the Navy Hospital. And he had sailors that would have to go before, get in counseling because of some type of family issue, crisis with sexual assault.
Thank you so much for your comments. Paul Sharplin, and then after Paul Sharplin is Charles Thornton.
Good evening. I meant to put Eric on the form, but I just forgot. But yes, I want to come down and say, I know Mike Kohler. I support him. Now, these comments have been blown out of proportion. When the other side is threatening to bring an ex-wife in, they are no better. Because what does an ex-wife from 25 years ago have to do with this? Nothing whatsoever. To try to dig mud and sling it, it's just, I mean, Mike is a good man. He's a Christian man. I know his heart. But, all I want to say is I support Mike Kohler. Now, my comments now want to be directed to Steve Stroberger and Ms. Pino. I want you, if you will, take the right hand of Christian Fellowship to Mayo and work out y'all's differences. She declared you Underhill 2.0. We don't need that battle going on for 3 years down here. Say where you are apart and talk it out and agree to disagree. That's all it is. Just find out where you're apart. Maybe go out to dinner and just talk. And Mel's a very easy person to get along with. She's a very good person, but when you get her worked up, we don't need the sarcasm down here because what does it accomplish? Nothing. And we got a lot of work to do, so I want you to consider that, if you would, with her. This way we can have peace instead of having the sniping remarks back and forth. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Charles Thornton, you're next. And after Charles will be Aretha Welcome.
Charles Thornton. I wrote something down, but after listening to the people say, I just want to say something. I spent 26 years at NAS Pensacola working in EEO, HRO, so I taught sexual harassment and I've had the training, and 6 years at U.S. Army Garrison Bamberg and retired. So I probably have more sexual harassment training and know more about it and can talk intelligent about it than most people in this room, unless you've actually gone through it. And there are different levels of sexual harassment. Then I get to this. One of them is there's sexual harassment, then there's sexual assault. A single incident does not necessarily mean sexual harassment. A person has an opportunity to stop. You have to have a pattern of single incident. To reach the level of sexual assault, it has to be severe and pervasive. So I hear the word sexual assault being passed around loosely. And I just ask each and every one of you to look up, go and train yourself on the way it works. My name is Charles Thornton. I am here today not to speak so much on the issue and challenges of the day involving Commissioner Mike Kohler. Local leaders and other political officials, I am here to speak and attest to the character of Commissioner Kohler. Let me first share one of the things we have in common. We both were self-made and grew up without a father. My father left me when I was 2 years old. My grandparents and extended family raised me. I do believe Commissioner share a similar background and childhood. I have known the commissioner for the last 4 years. During that time, I got to know him as an individual who loves and cares for his community and his citizens. The reason I know is because when we talk, most of his conversation involved working to improve the District 2 community, including the Warrenton area.
Thank you, Charles. We appreciate your comments. Ms. Welcome, you're next. And Josh Roberson, you'll be after Ms. Welcome.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Arnita Welcome. And ladies, y'all might not like what I got to say, but I'm here to support Mike. And the reason why I'm here to support Mike, because you guys are going on. Look, first of all, look at Mike's background. Look at all the work he has done that he did not have to do. Let me finish because I'm on the clock. Mike.
All right, please, ma'am, you do have to speak to us, not the audience.
Well, I'm
so
sorry.
please,
Thank
please
you
face this way and make your comments directed towards us.
All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Mike is a good guy, and all Mike wants to do is get along with everybody. I don't know Mike. I met Mike since he became County Commissioner District 2 because I was under District 2. Sexual harassment, I work for the Navy, I work for the Air Force as an EEO manager, EEO counselor, and this is no way close to sexual harassment, a sexual assault. Now, I've had class with Michelle. She's a good girl, but I think you guys are blowing this thing out of proportion because Mike would not do anything to hurt anybody. Now, I have not talked to Mike. I just listening to y'all, it hurts my heart to know that you guys feel this way and want him to resign for what? This man has a lot of work to do, and he's willing to clean up District 2 because District 2 was in trouble. He's willing to clean up District 2, make it better for the people who reside there. Let Michelle handle this. Let the courts handle whichever way she wants to go. Let them handle this and let that man do his job. That's the only issue that you have that I know that you guys mentioned with Mike. And that's why I'm here to speak on behalf of Mike.
Thank you, Ms. Welcome. Josh, you're up. All right. Ladies, please reserve the comments for the dais. Josh.
All right, listen, you can start that. I didn't wear pink tonight. If I knew this group was wearing pink, I wouldn't have done it, but I didn't wear it because of that. I'll say this. I haven't said this in public, I guess, up here. I am a retired senior chief pretty recently, Mr. Kohler. And I have said this, I'm tired of hearing about the Navy, but I will say this, a spade is a spade. If you had it to go on Facebook and say it, I'm not a public official, although I wish I was. Again, congratulations, Mr. Berry. But I do get to go on Facebook, and I can say things, but if you went on Facebook and said it, apology. The lady that was married to the disgusting chief that came up here, where's the apology? Don't make the apology at 11 o'clock at night. Understand? That's all they're asking for. You didn't do it.
That does conclude our public forum. We are going to take a 10, you want 15 or 10? 15-minute recess. It is 6:10. We will convene at 6:25.